Well, hello and welcome to the 2022 review and the plans for next year. First things first, Happy New Year. We'll say Happy New Year again at the end of the stream. And I would say delighted, not sure delighted is the right word, but I'm here with my little brother Ryan, who appeared on the coffee pod with me August time, I think August the 1st or the first week in August. So I'm pleased to be able to sit with him now and have a chat with him, and I think he's got some questions for me as well. So first things first, we'll just run through questions, I guess. So do you want to talk about yourself and who you are, where you come from, what you do?
So yeah, James said James is little brother. So I live in Devon, so a little bit far from James. So he's come down with his wife for New Year. So I thought, what a better time to sit together and just have a little review, really. It was going to be just an off the cuff chat, wasn't it? And we thought, why not, stream it and go from there and get you guys involved too. So I've got some pre-prepared questions. Most of it, in fairness, is just going to be a chat. I think is the best way to do it, as we normally would. So first question really then is, this is your second full year, I believe?
Yeah, second full year on Reselling.
On eBay. Yeah. How's it been?
Tough at points this year. I would say it hasn't gone as well as I wanted it to. And truth be told, I feel I wasn't as consistent as I wanted to be throughout the whole year. So the start of the year, I was very much a case of list some items, don't list items, list some items. And it's kind of as and when. So I'd go to a car boot sale, I might pick up 30 items, and then I would spread them out over the course of the week. But it might get to a Saturday or Sunday. And because I was outsourcing at the car boot, I wouldn't actually list any items on eBay. So the back end of this year, probably from August time, I kind of had a bit of a reality check to say I need to become more consistent with my listing goal. And what I have done now is from the 1st of August, started to list consistently the same number every single day, to where it's got to the point of next year, as in tomorrow, I'm going from listing where I was at 14 a day up to 20 a day. And I want to remain consistent doing that. And I think being more consistent will help me be more consistent when it comes to the sales and comes to the numbers as well. Now, I looked at my results from last year to this year, and I was 5.8% down, which isn't a crazy number down.
In terms of revenue? Or...
In terms of revenue. Okay. But we were still coming out of a kind of like a COVID year at the start of last year. So I was still selling my Nintendo Wiis for over £100 in the bundles. And I was picking them up for £10. And I think in the course of a week, I sold about 8 bundles of the Wiis. Wow. So I kind of have to look at that and say, well, that didn't really count. But long story short, I think me being more consistent next year is going to help me actually achieve the numbers I'm looking for.
So you talk about moving up from 14 to 20. Is there any sort of method in that? Or is it just you thought you're at 14, 20 is a nice number? Or is there some logic behind that?
There is a little bit. So I think as an everything seller, you need to, I think the top end I would ever be able to get to as an everything seller would be 30 items a day. And that is purely in my situation now due to storage and also sourcing as well. You've got to remember 20 items a day is 140 items a week that you have to go out, you have to go and find, you have to go and source. And that is quite difficult in its own, especially this time of year when there's no car boot sales. So you're trying to go to charity shops, you're trying to look at Facebook Marketplace, other apps, you're trying to speak to other resellers who might have loads of unlisted stock. And I've done a couple of buyouts during my vlog where these resellers didn't either have the time to do it or they weren't in the right position to list all them items. So you're kind of always having to source stock, where if I was niche down, a sale was to sell clothing, you can find clothing anywhere. So it's a lot easier to maybe be at a 30, be at a 40, be at a 50 a day listing goal. So 20 for me is a number that's going to push me, but it's not going to absolutely kill me. I feel it's an achievable target, which was important for me to set.
Yeah, of course. Otherwise, if you set yourself an unrealistic goal and never hit it, it must be quite disconcerting, really disheartening if you do that.
It is. And I think I spoke to Chris in the Daily Refinement group, and for me, it was a case of I would go inside and I'd be like, yeah, great day today. And when I'm meant to be listing 12 items, I might have only listed 10. Now, only I know that. You know, I could say to Leanne, amazing day today, got all my listings up. But the truth is I didn't. But there's no one like when you have a boss to say to you, well, let me check your results. Let me scroll through and see what you've done. So this year, or I keep saying this year because it's basically next year, but in 2023, I now have an accountability partner, Luke from the group as well, who we're going to catch up every single Friday and basically kick each other's asses if we haven't got our stuff done. Because sometimes you need someone who's not going to say, oh, it's okay, James, don't worry, next week's a new week. You need someone to kind of say, pull your finger out and get it done.
You drop the ball.
So I think an accountability partner is really important.
Yeah.
Let me just jump in and say a few hellos to the people in the chat. So the Scary Ghost is in. Hi. And the Scary Ghost, I found out yesterday, is actually Ryan's wife's sister. So I didn't know that. And they've been on the stream a number of times. And I'm like, who's this Scary Ghost person? Are we into that kind of channels now? But that's why. Hi, Limelight. Hope you're good. I saw your Instagram message yesterday. I'll reply back to you today. That sounds like a good plan, though. And we'll keep everyone in suspense. But I will reply back to you today. I'll say a few hellos. We've got Richard, we've got Damien, Maximus and Co. Hope you're good. Rich is in. RS is about to pop out. No, I appreciate that. It's New Year's Eve daytime, so I know people are busy. M's Den, hope you guys are well. Let me see if I've missed anyone. Lee, fix it. Hope you're good, mate. And yeah, we're at the bottom of the chat. Oh, we've got Rianne in. We've got your wife in. So, yeah, Rianne's in as well.
So you mentioned, and there's one thing I wanted to talk about in sort of as much detail as you're happy to share, really, the Daily Refinement Group. So for those that aren't a part of that are just joining, talk to me a little bit about that, where that come about and how, because I believe you're hosting the UK call now as well. Yeah,
so the Daily Refinement Group was a weird one for me. So I saw Chris's videos on YouTube while looking at other resellers, and I think it was recommended off the back of a UK reseller. Started watching Chris's stuff, started liking his content, and he talks a lot about consistency, which is something I mentioned at the start that I really lack at times. And I wasn't thinking about joining the group because in my head it was only American people. You know, it's an American group. It's run by Chris, who's American, and Tech, who's American. So it's not going to be beneficial to me in the UK. And I was watching one of his Wednesday lives, and I saw a guy called Tom who was on the group, and I thought, well, hold on, he's in the UK. So how many other UK people are in there? So I dropped Tom a message, and he said, like, you know, give it a chance. And if it doesn't work out, you get all your money back completely. You know, you can join for a month. If you don't make more, you did it. It's not for you. You get refunded in full. So what have you got to lose? And I've been in the group now just over a year. So last October is when I joined. And it's £35 a month, which I know people kind of say, why are you paying for information that should be free? But what you get for that £35 a month, and what I use it most for, is not just the advice you learn from people, but I've gone from working in a recruitment industry where I'm surrounded by work colleagues all the time to working on your own in a shed. So I will be happily paying that £1 or £1.20, wherever it works out to, just to be able to jump on a Zoom like this and a live chat and have people you can bounce ideas off, have people who can motivate you, have people who talk similar language to you when it comes to reselling. Because there's only so many times I can go in at the end of the day and tell Leanne about all this great stuff I've listed and how many things have sold and what a piece. She doesn't care. She potentially cares, but she doesn't. So that's why I'm part of the group.
I think it comes down to the understanding as well. Like, we bounce a lot off each other anyway, but I'm not a full-time reseller. Yeah. You know, I can't sort of empathize and sort of see where you're coming from, because that's different for me. I've got the standard 9 to 5 and that's it. Yeah. You know, I go to work and I'm salaried, so I'm getting paid anyway. Course. So it's very different. Okay, cool. So was there a UK call already and you've just managed to host that, or was that something that you've...
Yeah, so the UK call coming recently, and the person who used to run the UK call left the group, and I was quite shocked, I must admit. Chris dropped me a message on Instagram and just said, look, we're looking for a new host for the UK call. Would you be interested in doing it? The commitment is every Tuesday, or whatever day you decide, whatever time you decide, it's a 1 hour slot is what we ask you to do for the group. And I kind of said to him, look, if you feel I'm qualified enough to do it, because I'm no eBay expert. I don't sit there and say I've got 25 years on eBay and I know everything I'm doing, but I know quite a bit about it from learning. But the whole point of the UK call is not for me to give all the UK people all the information. That's in the group. But it's actually to just be that host and be that navigator who can kind of lead the call in certain directions. Let's talk about the Royal Mail strikes. Let's talk about who we used to ship with. Let's talk about customer service. Are we aware that this new policy is coming in for eBay? So that's my research behind it, and I just navigate the group. But we've got some amazing people in the UK, some 6-figure, some 7-figure sellers in the UK who are in the call, and they're the people I want to learn from as well. So my role as hosting the group is not to tell everyone the perfect way to do eBay, because in all fairness, Chris and Tech would say the perfect way to do eBay is to niche down, and I'm not niche down, I'm an everything seller. So my way is just to navigate that conversation and try and guide it and make sure that people are getting enough out of the UK side. So we get a dedicated 1 hour. We changed the time because we used to do it at lunchtime, and a lot of people do this part-time. So now we do a Tuesday evening, 9 p.m. And honestly, most of the calls go on to about 11:30 at night. But I don't sort of sit there and say at 10 o'clock, right, my hour's done, guys, I'm off, because the conversations are really interesting, keep you engaged as well.
Good.
Let me just catch up with the chat. I don't want to miss anyone. Married to Reselling. Hope you guys are good. I hope you have a great New Year's. Is it New Year's Eve already? It's New Year's Eve day, whatever it is. But yeah, we're on the pronies early, and I can't use it's Christmas, but it's New Year's. But I hope you guys are good. The stepmom's in. Hi Zoe. Hope you're well. And my dad. Well, my dad, our dad, shall I say? He is yours as well, I think. Paul's in, so I hope you're good.
Cool. So we spoke a bit about daily refinement. You mentioned a bit about your sort of listing goals, which is great. Do you know roughly how many items you've got at the moment in your store? Yeah,
so I looked this morning, just over 600 now, and that is very low for me. I like to be sitting around in 900 to 1,000. It's not a bad position I've been in because lots of things have been selling, but the issue is that consistency. So I think going up to 20, that store will quickly go up. But in all fairness, I'd rather have 100 store if it meant I was selling 100 items every day and restocking it 100 items every day. So I think sometimes people get disillusioned. They look at stores with 10,000 items and they feel that their 1,000 item store is not going to be as good, when actually it can be a lot better, because them 10,000 items might have been sitting on eBay for 2 years.
Yeah,
my 1,000 store might be selling through 4 times a year, which works out better. So I sometimes feel how many items you're having in your store is kind of like a flashy thing. It's a bit like your 90-day total on eBay, where I think it's important to have enough items in your store that you're attracting the right people to come and buy. But there's no point having 5,000 undesirable items in your store. You're better off having 100 desirable items. So it comes down to that. But I like to be sitting around 1,000 is where a perfect position for me.
I guess, the only downside of that is if you're selling more than you're listing, that's only going to reduce.
Yeah.
But if you're up to 20, do you know roughly what you're selling a day in terms of numbers of items? I guess it will fluctuate.
Well, it's averaging, I do quite well. My sell-through is pretty good. So when I'm listing 14, I averagely sell 9 to 12 a day, which is quite good. It's kind of looked at a sort of 0.5% sell-through is really good. So I'm close to kind of a 1% sell-through. But that fluctuates. Some days I'll have 25 sales, other days I'll have 2. And so you've got to look at eBay on a month-by-month basis, or even a 6-month-by-6-month basis, because I used to focus on the day-to-day, and it is nothing gets you more deflated than when you've had a £500 day on eBay on a Tuesday, and you think, I've nailed it. Every day is going to be £500 days. You get to the next day and you do 30 quid. But then over the course of 2 days, that's still £530. And if you have another £200 day, another £100 day, you look at your course of a week, you're nearly up to £1,000. You might only normally hit £700 in a week. So you need to look at over a longer period of data compared to just the day to day.
Of course.
We've got Chop in. There we are. Damon said what I just said there. Sell-through rate is more important than store size. Absolutely. We've got Mrs. Anne Clark, who's in the house here. And I was not saying in the house like it's, in the house. We're talking about inside the house.
In the house, yes.
So thanks for supporting and getting my live stream numbers up by 1, Anne. I appreciate that.
Also, thank you for letting us use your sort of outdoor space. And apologies about the rain.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can't hear the rain too much, but we've got a nice little outdoor space here, and it's probably the best setup I've ever had for the podcast. So I'm so jealous that I'm going to be going back to the shed next week. And
the first in person as well podcast.
Yes, the first one in person. So it's a bit weird because where do you look? Do you look at the camera? Do you look at each other? So I'm trying to do a bit of both. So
apologies if all you can see is my side profile.
We got Jack in as well. Hi, Jack. Hope you're good, mate.
So I want to talk about, first of all, do you have a good Christmas?
Oh,
that was the
well, I had a really good Christmas.
Yeah.
But jokes aside, that's one of the things I'm working on next year. We could talk about goals and stuff next year, but I want to get back into my fitness. I want to lose all this weight that I put on, and I can't just blame Christmas. It's not just been a week of Christmas. It's been about a whole year of eating rubbish. So this is going to be the last day of beers because it's New Year's Eve. But apart from that, we're fitness focused going into next year.
So on the topic of Christmas,
yes.
Vlogmas.
The dreaded
2022.
The dreaded
Are we going to
Vlogmas.
see a return in 23, are we?
I am sorry to disappoint people. Well, maybe excite people. Vlogmas will not be returning for Bold Finds. I love you all who supported and watched it, but it burnt me out. And during Vlogmas, I think halfway through, I was actually ill for about 5 days where I had like the flu-y cold. And it's one thing getting your eBay work done where you can sit in silence, you can just crack on. And there's another thing trying to hype yourself up and be excited for people to watch. And I watched the vlog, and my vlog was really, for me, this is my opinion, at the start had loads of energy, really exciting, really exciting. Then we hit that midway stage, I was feeling a bit rubbish. And I felt in myself, I wasn't giving it like 40%. And so I felt it just dipped.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got the second wind, it got up a bit. But time it come to the last couple of days, I was just like, I can't wait to switch off the camera. So credit to anyone who's ever done Vlogmas. If you're thinking about doing Vlogmas, I would say reconsider it. No, but jokes aside, I would say try it because you don't know until you try it. And there we go. Rich just said what I'm saying there. He done Vlogmas last year. I remember watching your Vlogmas, Rich, and he's not doing it. He didn't do it again this year for that reason. And Mad Reselling, yeah, maximum respect Vlogmas. No way we could do it.
It's a lot. It did, yeah.
And Damien's saying the 24-hour stream won't be harder than Vlogmas. You're insane behind it. We'll talk about the 24-hour stream later on because, yeah, I am mad. So he says it's disappointing. Well, it is maybe for the viewers, but not for the creators. So, yeah, Vlogmas is done. Ticked off the list. Put in the box, and that will never be seen. Never say never, but next year it will not be coming back. I've got other ideas for next Christmas.
I think it's brave for your first year. Started YouTube July?
Mid-July.
Okay.
Yeah, mid-July started
it's brave in your first sort of 6 months to do that. Because it's a lot. I remember the conversation we had before about, you know, even yourself in front of a camera, you were quite sort of tight.
Yeah, so that is the benefit of
videos,
Vlogmas.
so,
I was chatting with Mel the other night, back from Burnout Mel, and I was saying the main benefits I've got from it is I know how to edit better now. So I've got the head a bit around the editing program. Still, I'm not the best editor in the world. I'm going to be learning throughout the year. But also being a bit more confident with the camera facing me. So when I'm at the car boot sale, everything's on the chest mount. It's facing out. It's facing the stock. It's facing this. I might do a quick intro in the van, a bit of outro of what I picked up. But with Vlogmas, you have to kind of be on camera 90% of the time. So it gave me a bit more confidence and feel like, oh, okay, well, I'm quite relaxed on camera, but to relax a bit more. Okay. And again, during Vlogmas, I saw in myself that I went from being still a bit uptight and nervous on camera to by the end of it, just relaxing and letting my personality come out a bit more, which is important, I think.
Yeah, 100%, because people obviously are, yes, they're here for the channel, but they're also here for you and that personality and that how it's delivered. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's not only the content, it is, like you said, the motivation and that sort of that starts. Yeah,
you need that. I'll just quickly catch up in case I've missed anything there. So this is spot on how I'm feeling. I feel Vlogmas wasn't time for resellers who are super busy. Yeah, so Christmas is the busiest time. And it got to Christmas Day. I filmed an intro on Christmas Day. I filmed like a little bit of Jess is our sister, opening up a few presents. And then I didn't film anything the rest of the day. And I felt guilty for not doing that. But why should you feel guilty on Christmas Day not filming your Christmas? Because you're having so much fun.
For you, yeah.
You don't think about it. So, yeah, I think it does work in other areas. Paul saying, really enjoyed channel and so glad I found it. Really down to earth and motivational. Massive well done. Can't wait for 2023. Thanks, Paul, and thanks for sticking with me. I know you're one of the early viewers as well. So, Sia saying, you've been very brave in front of the camera and discussing your eBay sales. So that for me, in my first video, when I've done my intro, I think the first thing I said is for me, I want to be transparent. And that for me is so important because I want to tell you that I have sold, I'm going to pick up something here. I've sold this remote for £20 on eBay. It cost me £2. Now, most people might say to you, you made £18 profit, but it's costing me £3 to post this remote. It's costing me £3.10 in fees because eBay's been harsh. I've also got a 10% promotion on it, so there's another 10%. So all in all, I've only made probably about £6 on a remote. But on paper, it looks like you've made £18. So for me, showing the figures, showing everything, and I do the same with YouTube as well, about talking about how much I earn through YouTube, because when I started, there's not a lot of information out there about how much YouTube pays you. So when you start a channel, you kind of think, oh, when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be paid £2,000 a day. Believe me or not, if I was, I probably would be in Barbados doing the stream now. But I like to be really transparent with their numbers, and I will continue to do so because when you are starting reselling, numbers are so important.
And I guess that's where your 90-day on eBay looks amazing, but that is just pure salesman. That doesn't include, you might have bought an item for £1,000.
Yeah.
Sold it for 1,010.
Yeah.
Looked great on your 90 days, but not so much on your profit.
So the 90 days good to keep a look at because you kind of always want to keep your. I mean, everyone has targets to keep their 90 days over a certain level. I have that myself to say, right, next year I want to get my 90 day over here. But someone
happy to share that number?
Yeah. So ideally I want to get my 90 day total to over 20,000. So 20,000 every 90 days in sales.
Yeah.
But some people will show a 90 day total and they'll show 100 grand, and you might think, oh, do you know what? They're absolutely kidding the game. But their cost of goods might have been 95 grand. So you need to kind of look at the bigger picture when it comes to that. The 90 day figures for me don't really mean much, but I want to keep an eye on it because if you are then building. At the moment I'm sitting, mine's dropped, and I will get mine up now.
But I guess you're not buying more expensive items. So if that is naturally growing, it's not like you've gone from selling things you've bought for £2 to then selling things that you've bought for £2,000.
Of course. So it's different if you are, say, buying £1,000 items and selling them for 1,500 compared to if you're buying something for £1 to £20. But my 90 day and transparency is 13,832 and 7 pence. But that was sitting up just under 15,000 about 2 weeks ago. So on paper, you could be like, oh, you're £2,000 down. Well, actually, I'm probably £1,000 down this month where I want to be.
Okay.
But I don't look at it just December. December's not going to sink my business. I look over the course of the year. Have I had enough money to pay the bills, pay the mortgage? Yes. But at the moment, I say I'm staying afloat. I'm not sinking. I'm not drowning. I've got my armbands on. I've got loads of air in them. But I don't want to be in the water. I don't want to be potentially drowning, or the air might go out the armbands. I want to be not just that will do stay afloat. I want to be a case of I have money now to save, and I can talk a bit later about my goals for next year when it comes to saving as well. Let's just catch up. Yeah, Pete's right. Sales in the aspects is in. If you're transparent, we won't see you. Well, I do need a bed of a tan. I might go to the sunbed shop because I'm quite pasty anyway, but he's absolutely.
I'm feeling that as a dad joke.
He's
a new dad, that's
right.
a dad joke. I like that.
Barbados, wonder at a charity shop. Damien, I'll be honest with you. I will not be going to any charity shops in Barbados. I'll be on the beach. I'll be cocktail in hand and not worried about that. So this is a really interesting topic with regards to the VAT level. So
okay, for registering for VAT.
Yeah, so once you're over 85, I think it is, you have to be VAT registered. But eBay will pull you on it normally around the sort of 75 mark, or if you're predicted to hit that. Now, we've had many chats about the VAT level, and I'm one of them people who would rather smash through it compared to being scared to go over it. And also there is, and I don't want to give tax and VAT advice, there is a scheme where you can pay a flat rate of 6 to 8%, which I was
almost as what I'd see from a dumb person's view as like a corporation tax.
So there is speak to your accountants about this, because I used to think if you go past that threshold, you're going to get absolutely penalised. And if you go to 90k, you're better off sticking at 70k. But with the flat rate, you don't get hurt as much as you think. So I'm one of these people who I want to go, well, you'll see later when I speak about it. I want to be hitting at least 100k next year. All in all is where I want to take my business. But yeah, there is a flat rate, which is interesting. But a lot of people don't want to go over that threshold because they don't want to get in that VAT rate. And I used to think the same way until I found out about this flat scheme, and it changed my opinion on it. So look into that as well.
Not official tax advice.
No.
Don't come at us.
No, I'm not being blamed for that. Returns and lost parcel refunds don't come off the 90 days.
That's interesting, because you would have thought they would have. So again, that's for the art of transparency. Then that's not 100% clear. I guess you've got to track that
also
manually yourself. Do you?
I believe the postage doesn't come off that 90 day either. As far as I'm aware, let me know if I'm wrong, but I believe so. Let me just say hello to people. I want to make sure I keep up with the chat. Hi, Lee. Lee's in the group as well. Daily Refinement. Hope you're well, mate. He had a really epic gaming bundle pickup over the Christmas period. Loads. I won't say how much he spent, but one of the games alone was over 500 quid. And
what, worth
Yeah, it's a Sega game and it's worth over £500, and he got a huge bundle of stuff. So he's had a great Christmas in that term.
Well done, Lee.
Let me just see if I've missed anyone else. Fraser Ken, that's a new name. Really enjoying the live chat and watching your videos. Generally, they're really informative. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for popping in the live. RJS, afternoon. Hope you had a good Christmas. We did. All right. Over to you again, Mr. Question Man.
So you touched on it a little bit about when we're talking about Vlogmas, but one of your biggest things, and I believe when we spoke in August about it, you were just in the process of, I think Leanne bought it for you for your birthday in September, didn't you? The GoPro.
Yes.
You were really nervous initially,
Uh-huh.
and I believe you've done, I think, about 18 videos of actual footage now at boot sales.
Yeah.
How are you finding it? And have you ever been asked to not film or stop filming, or actually can you delete that video of me? Or...
Yeah, so that is, I think, a worry for a lot of resellers. Let me know in the chat if it is, because I think a lot of people are scared of the reaction. I was also scared of whether people would put their prices up, knowing that I do it as a reselling job.
Okay.
But I've actually found being really transparent at car boot sales has actually made me connections and has helped me move forward in the business. The YouTube channels help with that as well. So my 2 last pickups were from people I've met, 1 from the YouTube channel and 2 at the car boot sale. So do I get nervous now? No. Do people say, what's the camera for? Yes, now and again. I probably get asked once every weekend at a car boot sale. So it's not as much as you think. And a lot of people are actually like, oh, that's cool. What's your channel's name? Let me look at that. And so I'll give them the channel name and they say, oh, you've got this many subscribers. You must be doing well. I'll give you a follow. So people are quite supportive of it compared to where I used to think it would go the opposite way of don't film me. I've had 3 people say to me, please do not put me on camera. And I say, absolutely. Yeah. I will make sure you're not in the clip. Here's my channel. So when the video comes out, you can watch and make sure, you know, I get
subscribe and you can see when it comes out.
In a way, use it as an opportunity. Here's the channel, subscribe so you can watch and put the notification bell on so you can actually watch when it comes out. But actually, the response has been okay. 1 car boot sale, and that was actually down here when I come down here, asked me not to film.
Before we went in.
The stewards asked me not to film when we come in, but everyone else has been absolutely fine. And actually, I think they like the promotion. I know my Saturday one loves it because I will shout them out. So Moss End, and you probably don't watch, but if you are watching, because it attracts more people to come to their car boot sales as well. The other thing I've had is other resellers in queues saying to me, oh, you're one of them. You make it harder for us. It's your fault that all the prices are sky high now because you vlog everything you find on the internet. And now I can't find this item for £2 and sell it. I get that a lot. But again, it's fair enough. That's your opinion. That's fine. But there's plenty of stuff out there you can find. And actually, forget the fact I do YouTube myself. What got me into reselling was watching other YouTubers go into car boot sales and buy and sell stuff. That gave me the itch to kind of do it.
We used to sit for hours and do it.
We did. And that was years ago before we even thought about doing it well myself. So yeah, I get that a lot in the queues of car boots. And I say a lot, once a month, maybe someone will make a comment. But again, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
And again, you got 2,000 plus people that are keen to watch those videos.
Exactly.
So that's good.
Do you know what? I've done this once before. And I've done it as a laugh, and I didn't put it on film because I didn't know how it would go down. But just say you're collecting evidence for customs, I've actually said to someone, I'm undercover police, and I've got my body cam on just in case anything kicks off at the car boot. And the person kind of didn't know what to do, whether to laugh, whether to take me seriously. But yeah, it's funny. It's them people who don't want to film are the people who you're thinking, oh, cash only at every car boot sale. Are you declaring this cash? But yeah, so Rich goes to Apscourt Farm. That's where we used to go growing up.
Yeah.
I was going to Apscourt Farm. There's a bloke selling from a van shouted, camera. Yeah, well, if he wants to be on camera. And that's the thing. Some people actually say, are you filming at the moment? And sometimes I'm not. And I said, no. They go, oh, can you put the camera on and can you get my good side and stuff? So some people are quite okay with it. Oh, am I going to be famous on YouTube and stuff? And some people have sort of said, you know, hi, like that to the camera and that. And so we're human beings at the end of the day. And I don't want to get into the whole tinfoil hat, but we're being filmed constantly anyway. But it is a weird thing, you know. It is weird when a camera's pointing at you and you're speaking and you're feeling like, where's this going to be used? I would ask the question. I would say, what's the camera for? you know, not in a horrible way, but more of a case of an intrigued way. And they might say, oh, I'm doing a documentary on idiots who sell at car boot sales are filming me, and then I'll be a bit concerned. But yeah, it's a real mixed thing. But I've learned so much from you know, people like Rich there, and also people like Pete. And that's what got me into reselling. So I'm grateful that these guys have put out the footage for me to actually do this job now, because I love it.
And that's what's great. I think there's a lot of people, well, and when we did the initial one, there was a lot of people that were thinking of doing it and thinking of taking that leap. So hopefully now there'll be people, you know, in years' time having the same conversation, saying, I used to watch Bold Finds, now I do it myself and I'm really successful, which is great. So moving on a little bit to YouTube, if we can.
Yes.
I know we've spoken a little bit about them. I'm bouncing a bit back. This, I believe, is video 101.
It is, yeah.
On your channel.
Vlogmas on the Boxing Day post got me up to 100. I didn't even know I was that close, and I got a notification. So this is 101 videos, and they always say your first 100 are the worst 100 videos you're putting out. So this better be a good one, because that's what they say. Your first 100 is kind of trial and error.
So happy to talk about YouTube statistics and analytics and what we've got.
Absolutely. Before we move on quickly, two things I want to do. So Rich, there's a lady at Denham Car Boot asked about my camera and asked to be on my video. Yeah, people do that all the time. I'm going to be on your video. Watch your channel. Let me watch. I can't wait to see myself back. And I've had that. And I've also brought from people at the car boot sale who have then come in my comments and say, that CD player you bought from me, which is really weird, because then you think like, well, you know, I'm listing on eBay. I paid £5 for the CD player and it's worth £600, and I bargained them down to £4. But you get a real mixture. What I want to do is, so Damien's saying there, he's only done 100. I've done about 80 in 3 years. Do Vlogmas. That gets your numbers up, that's for sure. So there you go, there's a recommendation. But what I want to do before we move on is change the banner. I come down this morning and I was discussing with everyone in the household here about New Year's Eve. So this might lose me subscribers when I say this.
I'm unsubscribing.
I'm not a huge fan of New Year's. I like the aspect of New Year's, new opportunities, new goals and targets. I'm target driven in that sense. But New Year's evening, I've never been a huge fan of it. And the question I want you guys to answer, and I want to get a list together here, is what is your biggest New Year's Eve ick? And if you're old, like some people, not in the chat necessarily, but maybe in the household, you might not know what an ick is. I know you're watching, Anne. Might not know what an ick is. It's something that makes you like, oh, like cringe, and you don't like it.
You refer to it as a pet peeve.
A pet peeve, maybe that's the best way to put it. And I'm going to chuck my one out there, and we will be doing it later. And after a few more drinks, I might be first up to do it. Auld Lang Syne. Why do you at midnight stand up, all crossed arms, no one knows the words, you just go, da, 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 more and more drunk, slurring your words, gin sloshing everywhere. And then once that 30 seconds has finished of Auld Lang Syne, what do? You sit back down the sofa and then you start feeling like, oh, is it bedtime yet? So in the comments, I want to see your New Year's Eve icks. Okay, I'm going to bring up some before we move on to some questions. There we go. What did I get here? Tonight's live will be my 524th video. Rich.
How long have you been doing YouTube, Rich?
Yeah, Rich, let us know. Hello, Baldy. I know who this is. You know, I said to you, Jamie in Cardiff has his brick and mortar store, 19 years of age.
You've just lost all your Welsh subscribers.
That's all right.
Horrendous accent,
but
yes.
He's got his brick and mortar, and he was the one I tried to call yesterday when we were in the charity shop showing him the jacket and stuff. But he's a good kid. Jamie's learnt a lot in the last. He's been in the daily refinement group for a couple of months, and he's learnt a lot. And actually, he's someone who's doing 50 a day clothing. He's got his brick and mortar, but what's quite nice, he works in his brick and mortar. So while he's listing and doing his eBay stuff, he's got the walk-in side as well.
Oh,
but
amazing.
He's doing really, really well. Yeah, what was that accent? So here we go. We're getting some icks in. Jules Holland.
No, I disagree.
That is controversial.
I disagree.
But does anyone ever watch Jules Holland
normally,
apart from New Year's Eve?
No.
Is he on TV anymore?
Yeah, I think so, but only the Hootenanny.
Because isn't he on at like 2 in the morning on BBC or so? It's early. So I don't think anyone watches Jules Holland.
Maybe.
I love these. Fireworks. Limelight says random people coming up for a kiss at midnight. Gross. Well, it's a bit. It
I'm going
depends.
to the wrong place.
If you're at a party, I get that. But if you're sitting in your lounge, does someone just walk in the front door? Here we go. Pet peeve. Oh yeah, Anne says cheeky. See, we have to explain to her. Pet peeve. People still text you Happy New Year early at 8 because they think it's yes. This was on my list this morning.
I'll message you now because I might not be able to get a phone signal.
Yeah, all the phone lines get jammed. You still get the people who message saying that as well.
It's like the millennium. The world's going to end tomorrow. Better do it now.
I'm gonna. What's your one anyway? What's your one? Because I'm going to chuck in another one of mine, and it's something that you do. You said earlier you do.
Oh no. I'm quite a chilled person.
Right,
I'm gonna. If I have like a New Year's.
I'm going to chuck him other one.
I might find one tonight.
When it gets to 11:50 and someone goes to you, "See you next year," knowing that in 10 minutes' time they're going to be standing next to you, seeing you in the new year.
I have one.
Ick.
I have one, and I do it, and I'm guilty of it.
Go on.
Every time, like today, if I do something, like I've just had a coffee, that's going to be my last coffee of the year.
Oh.
Yeah, this is my last podcast of the year.
Vic Reeves on Jules Holland. So Jules Holland's getting a lot of stick. Jules Holland, if you're watching, I'm a fan. So if you want to come on the coffee pod at any point, you're welcome. All right, ignore these lot. Yeah, 6 weeks in the group, you are smashing it, mate. I'm so proud of you. I know I give you a lot of stick because he's so young and his mum does half his work for him, and he sleeps in a baby's crib. We do give him a bit of. I'm joking. He works hard, Jamie. I must admit, and even when he's got stuff going on, he still gets it done. So credit to him.
Is he your accountability partner you're talking about?
No, that's Luke. I don't think Luke's probably not in the chat yet, so that shows how accountable he is. Fireworks that go off 15 minutes before the actual New Year. It's similar to the phone lines, Ian. People are trying to get the fireworks up in case they don't go on at 12 o'clock. So let's go early. See, Mrs. Ann watches Jules Holland. Maybe it's like an age thing. Maybe. I've got to be nice, actually, because she's going to be cooking me some lunch and stuff. So, yeah, fireworks at 10 p.m., even early on the fireworks. Oh, so we've got fireworks on the 5th of January. Well, talking of the 5th of January, we'll go to the 5th of January. We'll go.
What a absolute,
we'll line up.
You set that up.
We'll line that up in a minute. We'll come back to that. About 3 weeks. Hold on. Oh, sorry. About 3 years seriously doing YouTube, just an odd video before that.
Wow, so 3 years at 500 videos.
Yeah, but Rich does a live every Saturday night without fail, and they're so good. I went on Rich's live the other night, and I didn't know what they were talking about, but I just joined it, and he is so... One thing we'll say about Rich, two things I'll say about Rich, actually. He is genuinely such a nice guy. That's him.
Rich, I've just subscribed.
We've got another subscriber, Rich. Generally such a nice guy, and he is so honest as well about everything. So if he's having a crap day, he'll still talk about it. He'll still do it. He'll still do his live, but he'll be honest and say, guys, look, things are rubbish for me at the moment.
Again, that's the importance of the transparency, because people,
we're human.
If they're watching these and thinking, actually, reselling, I want to go into it, it seems amazing. You don't always, from other content creators and YouTubers, get that true to life reflection. I think that's why with you always mention about transparency, because that's good to see the real life version of it.
And I've been on Richard's live, and he's been on my live as well. And we've had very honest and open conversations before and after the stream, as well as during the stream as well. And sometimes you feel the world's coming down on you, and you don't want to get things done, but you kind of have to push yourself through. And that's similar to YouTube. Sometimes when you're feeling like you're not 100%, but you promise someone you're going to be doing a video today or going live today, you don't want to let other people down because they might be going through a really crap time as well. So you want to kind of do it for them. And you sort of put yourself second at times, which I found myself doing for Vlogmas. I could have easily said, right, I'm not going to post for 2 days. I'm going to have 2 days off because I need to recharge. Yeah. But then you feel you're letting everyone else down who's expecting a daily video. You kind of promised that at the start. So,
I think also with someone like reselling, where it is a little bit, it's not the traditional job. Yeah. It could be looked upon as actually you said it yourself, going from working with people to working in a shed. It's that sense of community again, isn't it?
Ryan's going to love this. You two need to make this stream a regular thing. It's working really well. Well, he lives quite far away. It's about a 3-hour drive. And
but it's fine because you can move.
I don't like him that much to drive 3 hours every week to come and sit next to him and do it. But
and for reference, it's Devon, not Cornwall.
Well, Devon,
from
Cornwall,
one of the block.
Exeter, Exmouth.
If there's anyone that subscribes from Devon and Cornwall, he doesn't know the difference. So unsubscribe.
Yeah, you can unsubscribe, give permission. But no, jokes aside, if I mean, we get on really well anyway. But if Ryan did live closer, we would probably we would start something together. I'm sure, because we like talking business, and like Ryan said, although he doesn't do eBay, we chat most weeks, and it's all a case of like it's very business. We don't just talk business; we talk brother stuff as well. But it is a lot about business, about numbers, about facts and figures. We're really into that, so it's good to be able to sit down.
We're both very driven in our choice of careers, aren't we? So I think that comes across from our conversation. Thank you.
I'm still catching up on the things as well. But Limelight says, do you ever see that Tekken guy if you join the daily refinement group? Limelight, I have some good news for you. He is real, and you do see him. Every Tuesday, he does a question and answer thing, and he will answer the same questions. It doesn't matter how many times he answers them. He doesn't get pissed off because he understands there's new people joining the group. And his longest live stream he's done, they're normally about 3 to 5 hours. The longest live stream he's done, I think, was 9 hours, where he was just answering people's questions. And his advice is solid. He is a multi-millionaire. He doesn't have to do it. He could literally wake up tomorrow and say, closing my eBay, dropping out of the daily refinement group, don't want to be part of it anymore. He can retire tomorrow, he's openly said. He's got brick and mortars. He's got a lawn crew. He's got loads of other different businesses. He's now got property. So you learn a lot of business from him as well. But you do get to see him because he is this enigma of a guy you never see. He doesn't have a YouTube channel. If he started a YouTube channel, he would probably be on 1 million subscribers before the end of the year. Next year, I would say, easily. But you do get to see him. And actually, he's very blunt. He's very to the point at times. But he's very smart and intelligent. And when he gives you praise, you know you've done a really good job because he doesn't give out praise lightly.
Great mentor. Someone definitely.
Really good mentor and someone to look up to. So Zoe's New Year's Eve is you lot and your jittery legs all year round. So something you might not know about me and also Ryan, we have this thing where we shake our leg. So when we're sitting there, sometimes we'll just bounce our leg.
You've probably seen from the stream the amount I move and
jitter
about.
So we've both got that. And our wives are convinced it's some form of our ADHD potentially where we just can't sit still. But yeah, we're constantly moving and jittering the legs. So that's Zoe's pet peeve. We better be careful because Anne's threatening to come outside on the stream. So we'll keep things down.
I will get the views in.
I'm well older, can't stand him. You're talking about Jules Holland still?
It was okay 20 years ago.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time I watched Jules Holland, but we're having it on then.
Because tonight.
Anne's getting it on, so we'll watch it.
We always watch the Hootenanny.
The biggest ick is the conga round the green. Now, people might understand this, but where we grew up, we lived in a place called Staines. And if you don't know Staines, just watch Ali G and everyone's like, yeah, Staines massive and all this stuff. But we had a field outside of a house called the Green where we used to spend all of our time playing football, running around it after we played Knockdown Ginger. I wasn't doing this, Knockdown Ginger. I'm a responsible person. But jokes aside, New Year's was that. It was midnight, and then people would go outside and conga around the green, and that is very icky.
I don't think so.
You think that's good?
I think that's brilliant. You had everyone in that street and the other side literally join a random conga. I think that's great, personally.
Chop, chop. Resolutions, waste of time. 10 listens a day. I might make it to Tuesday. Diet done by Monday. That's another thing. Someone said earlier in the household, Rianne, who said earlier, Ryan's wife, said, the January gym goers. The people who turn up at the gym in January with all these aspirations of, I'm going to do this. And by the time it gets to the 14th of January, you don't see him again. I'm going to be one of them because I'm getting back in the gym and working on the fitness. But at least I've gone to the gym this year.
I tried it once. I said to myself, if I go to the gym, I can work off so I can eat as much food as I want. Turns out there's not enough hours in the day to gym to cover the amount of food I want to eat. So it doesn't work for me.
Okay, I must have missed some of the... oh, no, there we are. Is that right? Emsden, Richard Legend. And he smells nice. Are they talking about Rich? Rich, do you smell nice? When I finally meet you, Rich, at Apscott Farm, I'm just going to come and sniff you and you'll be so weirded out.
That'll go on the video. I have a question while I remember it.
Yeah.
You mentioned there about when you're walking around and you're not filming. So are you just filming certain parts of the boot sale? It's not like you film everything and edit it down.
Yes.
You only film certain bits?
Yeah, so... what I do with the GoPro, and I made a mistake. So my first time I had the GoPro, I underestimated the amount of battery. So the battery drains quite quick. So when I first did my boot sale video, I switched it on. And sometimes you're at the car boot sale for 2-3 hours, sometimes longer if it's a big one. And by the time you get halfway around, you realise your battery's gone. Dead. So I've got 5 GoPro batteries now, which is overkill. But what I do is if I'm walking towards something or I see something from a distance and I feel, do you know what, this might be something I want to buy, I'll switch it on. And then I edit the slight walks in between. Because I think my first boot sale video, there was lots of walking. People, in my opinion, people don't want to watch me walk around a field for an hour when I'm only picking up 1 or 2 items. People want to see the action. People want to see what you're finding, what you're doing. They want to see a bit of interaction with people at the car boot, the sellers and whoever it may be. People don't want to see me dragging my trolley in here in bump, 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 15 minutes of a video.
That's why I thought you'd do it and then just edit that out, but you're just clearing it anyway because of the battery life more so than
battery life more so than anything. So anyone getting a GoPro, I recommend getting a bigger memory card because the standard ones only lets you record an hour. Mine now lets me record like 5 hours, and they're not expensive. They're about 20 quid, the SD cards.
Just standard SD card.
Just a standard. Okay. I think it's a micro SD. But yeah, I kind of like to switch my camera on when I feel there's going to be something good. But also on GoPro, you can do a 15-second where it kind of records in the background. And when you switch it on, it's also recorded 15 seconds before. Okay. So there is ways you can do it. But I know some people like to leave it uncut, just record the whole thing. And that works for them. For me, I'd rather have my boot sale video 20 to 30 minutes, but with more action and pickup. Because that's what I enjoy watching.
Yeah, and I guess also if you're doing the whole thing, it's a lot more editing time.
Yeah. Let me just catch up with the chat. I must have missed stuff here because they're saying webcams exist. Oh, that's for us two getting together. So we could do one where Ryan is on the stream and we could do it remotely.
That's what we did last time.
There's technology now where we don't have to be sitting next to each other. Now this is a controversial one, and Ryan might not even know the answer because he's only a fake. He's only fake down here. He's originally from Staines as well. So don't Devon put jam on the right. Next one, scone or scone?
Scone.
I'm scone.
Yeah.
Don't Devon put jam on the scone before the cream? Cornwall do it the other way around.
So I always get this wrong because, again, I didn't grow up here. So me personally, I'm a cream jam, which I think is Cornish because I always get stick for living in Devon and doing it the Cornish way. But for me, the cream is your butter. Your jam is like your topping, right?
I'll go jam cream. But then, hold on. But then what way are you eating it? Because... well, you don't stack it. I would stack it. I would have 2. It's making like a sandwich. So it doesn't matter. You can't. That's okay. Can't lose.
A completely different. Yeah.
So Rich saying, I have been rubbish with reselling the past 16 months since I lost my younger brother to cancer, but I like being positive for other people and my subscribers. Yeah, Rich, absolutely. Well, I think everyone who follows you definitely knows your story with your brother and how close you guys were in that sense as well. So yeah, I guess New Year's for you, Rich, is one of them reflection times as well. But I know we spoke a lot and you're really passionate about becoming more consistent on your eBay next year. So, yeah, we believe in you. You've got it, mate. You'll absolutely smash it. And you're so good at what you do. So
look forward to following your journey now.
Yeah, please keep doing the videos. Please keep doing the lives because I know people love them. And your Halloween live is epic. So, yeah, keep going. Always heard about the group as it's based around America. UK is just a side thing to it. Jack, that's exactly how I felt before I joined the group.
This is Daily Refinement Group.
Daily Refinement, because that's the same feeling I had. It's an American-based group. They're based in America. But so much of the information is so relevant. And now we have the UK side. We make it more relevant to the UK in that period there. On top of that, we have the Zoom room, which is 24 hours. So on a daily basis, Monday to Friday, because I think in the UK, it's weird. We don't really work the weekends as much as like the US do. But anyway, Monday to Friday, from around 8 o'clock in the morning, there's normally 6 or 8 of us from the UK in there, chatting away until around 2 o'clock, where Chris does his daily live call, 2 p.m. And normally by that time, I look to have finished eBay anyway. So, yeah, I used to think the same, Jack,
so
as well.
During your normal work day, you stick it on and you've got, again, that companionship and that community.
It's that community and companionship. And it's basically like I'm doing on my live stream I'm doing next week, where come and list live with me. Come and join the StreamYard. Even if you don't want to have it in the background, just have someone there to list with. I know Cooking Hayden's Chris, another channel we watch. He does it. He does a lunchtime live, and he'll come and list. Pete, let me go back to Pete. The Pete who asked the cream jam question, a controversial one. He does a list 5 live on Monday. So he does a live stream every Monday where he'll list 5 items. And he'll talk about the items. He'll talk about what he's listing, talking about the weekend at the car boot sales, answering questions, helping people out. So I think as resellers, it's such a lonely job. I love having that community you can talk to. who all understand business and want to do business in the right way, but also have people to come in. And hand on heart, I am not sponsored by Daily Refinement. They do not pay me to say any of this stuff, because if they did, I would have to say, just you guys know, they pay me, I'm sponsored, blah, blah, blah. I do this because I believe in it. It's worked for me. And for the people who don't want to join it, absolutely fine. It works for you. There's no right or wrong answer, but there is a real stigma around it is not for UK resellers, because I used to have the same feeling as well. Let me just catch up on the chat. Oh, worked in Shepperton near Staines for Channel 5 back in the day.
Oh, it's Shepperton Studios, I guess, then.
Yeah.
For there.
Here we go.
Oh,
This is an important question from Night's Life. Why is my mouse not working? Here we go. Are you guys East Side, Massive, or West Side? I'm West Side.
West Side.
West Side is the best.
Well, you say that. We are West Side.
We are West Side, but I'm just saying from the film, West Side. Is it West? Oh, they both say East Side are the
East
best.
Side is the best. West, yeah.
And,
Move on.
And let me give you another
before the
fact about Ali
accents come
G
out.
and Staines. People who grew up in Staines hated when that movie came out.
So I was a bit younger than you.
Yeah,
so
they hated it.
Affected me differently.
But it probably is a true representation of Staines.
Yeah.
No offense to anyone from Staines. So Lee Fix It is grew up in Ashford and Staines. So lots of people around the area.
Wow.
The other Ashford. Yeah, so we're talking about the real Ashford, Damon, not the Kent Ashford.
Oh yeah, sorry, Ashford, Surrey.
Ashford,
Middlesex,
Surrey.
whatever
The
it is
posh
now.
Ashford, not the Kent. We have people who live in Kent, by Kent Ashford, actually. Rich just smell nice. Okay, I'm going to have to sniff you, Rich. That sounds so weird, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to sniff
I'm
you,
going to
Rich.
sound like that.
I might clip it. Here we go. I couldn't download long GoPro footage. I keep the clips to 5 minutes max. Yeah, I think that's enough time. For me, again, when I say all this, I think is enough time. It's all an opinion, because some people like to put out a 2-hour boot sale video, and some people will sit and watch it from start to finish for 2 hours. For me, my attention span when it comes to the boot sale footage is about a half an hour to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to put out. But there's no rights or wrongs to it, which is good.
Whatever works for everyone else.
And talking of cooking Hayden's, hope you're well. Self-edit while you go. That's what I do. Saves a ton of time. Yeah, it's sort of clip by clip, so much easier. So cooking Hayden's, Ryan, for you might not know, this is Chris. He does a live every Monday straight after the coffee pod. So that's why at the end of the coffee pod was like, right, got to go because Chris is going live. I don't like to clash. But also Chris does the listing with me live, which is really good as well. So lunchtime listing. I think it's quite good to get a bit of community who can list together. Let me just see if I missed anyone. So the Welsh picker's in. Hope you're good. So he uses the GoPro for filming. Uses phone to film. That's what I've done a lot of time for the vlog. It works just as well.
I guess handheld, like a sort of vlog style.
Yeah.
Just like you're just on your phone, I guess.
Thrifty Georgie. Hiya. Right, this is Max. So Max is from America in the Daily Refinement group. And his motto is, let's go. Because that's a very American thing, isn't it? We're all like hype men, like, let's go. So
It
he'll
must be so weird because they've always got so much energy.
so
Just sat there like
so
yeah,
much
thanks for
energy.
joining.
So Max will log into the Zoom call probably about 5 o'clock his time in the morning or 6 o'clock his time in the morning.
Wow.
And you'll see him and he's doing all his stretches and exercise. And he's doing 100 push-ups a day in January. And guess what silly bugger said, I'll join you with that, Max? Me. So I've got to do this live stream. And at some point, either during the live stream or at the end is where I'm going to get away with it. Because I'll tell him I've done it and I might only do 99.
Oh, here we go.
I've got to do it. But yeah, Max is great. He's been such a good support.
Whereabouts are you based, Max? It'd be interesting to know.
Yeah, Max, where are you
in America
based?
you're
I don't know, because America's just one place to me.
Because
So.
we talk about time zones. It depends on whereabouts they are.
Oh, this is an exclusive. I'll have a co-presenter for List 5 Live next year.
I didn't think we were telling him. I thought I was exclusive to the coffee.
Have you been
pod.
signed up?
I have, yeah.
I think I know who it is, and I hope it is.
You can't spoil it.
Yeah, I can't.
You can't
We'll
spoil
clip
it.
that. I know who it is,
All right.
and the person it is
Boston,
clip.
Massachusetts, Max.
I think I know who it is. I'll message you after, Pete, 'cause I think I know.
We went to,
Boston.
myself and my wife went to Boston in April, May time. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Did all the touristy things, the duck tours, all of that. But yeah, we really like it. Really like it in Boston.
US. Let's have a look here. Do you have anything you're looking to pick up this year, bolos, etc.? So I'm really into cameras at the moment. I always have kind of liked them, but as an everything seller, it's still anything and everything.
Why is that? Why cameras? Why is
They're
that
small. So my plan for next year is to buy smaller items. So I'm going to stop buying these big DVD recorders, these printers. Although yesterday in charity shop, what was the first thing I asked the lady? How much is this in the window? A big Canon printer. But anyway, that's this year. I'm talking about next year.
Okay.
But I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop buying them bulky items. So cameras are easy to store. There's good money in some cameras if you know what you're looking for. A lot of people have them and don't use them, so are happy to sell them or get rid of them. The downsides to cameras, they take a lot of testing, and a lot, if they've been stored in the loft for many years, might not work.
So when we talk about niching down, you're literally niching down in size rather than to a specific item.
That's the plan next year. So I'm niching down in size to fit more items in the shed. I mean, you've seen how small the shed is. On camera, sometimes that shed seems a lot bigger than what it is. But I'm niching down. It's a bit like me on camera. I seem a lot bigger than what I am. You meant to agree. But I'm going to niche down to smaller items for my eBay store. So yeah, cameras is something I'm going to look out for, that kind of thing. So I've said next year is going to be video game consoles and smaller to give you an idea on the size, because I might buy the odd item which is bigger. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sick of buying all of these big items that take up a quarter of the shed.
Yeah, especially postage again, isn't it? It's the thing to post it.
I want to post things quicker. It takes longer. You've got to bubble wrap everything. If you have a camera, bit of bubble wrap, bit of void fill into a nice box, seal it up, you're ready to go. With a printer, loads of bubble wrap. You've got to make sure it's all padded around the side to protect it. You've got to find the box. You've got to make sure the box fits perfectly. There's enough movement in the. There's so much more that goes into it. Heavier to carry to the parcel shop. So yeah, I'm niching down into smaller items. That
on
is
the
plan.
Conversation about boxes, I noticed from one of the vlogmas episodes you were talking about buying boxes.
Yes.
Whereas I think back in our podcast initially, you were suggesting that eBay had some that weren't great, maybe.
Yeah.
And things like garden centres, supermarkets. Still the same advice.
Recommend that 100%. If you can get boxes for free from the garden centre, supermarkets, and using your eBay voucher, and that's all you need, 100% do that. Because when you buy boxes, like I've had to buy some bigger boxes for bigger items, all that is eating into your profits.
Sure.
So if you go to any garden centre and you speak to the people and say, look, I'm a reseller, I need some cardboard boxes, they'll probably take you out to a back room or say, at the front there, take what you want, and you can fill up your car or van full of boxes. And you can do that supermarkets, garden centres, go on Facebook Marketplace. The amount of people who move on a daily basis, they will say, I have 20 boxes first to collect. Message them, say, where are you? Go and collect them. That's 20 boxes that might have cost you £20. All adds into eating into your profits. Now, I still buy some boxes, but they're costing me a couple of pence per box is what I'm paying at the moment. I'm buying in bulk. But if you are going to buy, say, 10 boxes, they might cost you £20. That's £2 a box. You might only sell the item for £20. You paid a tenner for it. All your fees, your box cost, your packaging costs, you're actually in a loss. You might have made a loss. So yeah, if you can get free boxes, so Max, Boston, not Boxton, Boston, New England. Jess is in the chat. She knows about Max. Let's go. Let's have a look here. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's not a person. 4 legs.
Oh, okay.
Might say woof woof from time to time.
Oh yeah, you're keeping it really.
But I'm not going to give us spoilers. I'm not going to give no spoilers. Look, here we go. Look, it's a puppy. Is it a dog? Could be.
Oh, I thought it was a puppet. It's a puppy. You said.
No,
sorry.
It's a puppy. It's a puppy. It's not that kind of, not kind of thing. Right. Okay. I think we've caught up. Any more questions from you?
I do. I'm going to have to refer to my list of questions. I'm a little bit off task.
He's pretending he's got them all in his head, but he's just looking down at an iPad.
Yes, it's fun. Transparency again.
That's it.
Transparent.
It is good.
I want to talk a little bit more about YouTube.
Yes.
So, in the previous podcast, you said that YouTube was a passion project.
Yes.
Is it still a passion project, or is it now a second job?
Oh, that is right.
Take out Vlogmas.
Right, hand on heart. YouTube is still a passion project, and the reason behind that is YouTube is not paying me enough at the moment for me to consider it an income sustainable for a job.
What are we talking?
So I'm saying about why I do YouTube at the moment is because I'm passionate about putting stuff out there. It's something away from the reselling of eBay. Listing items on eBay gives me something to do. I enjoy it. My love language is words of affirmation, so I like it when people go on the videos and say, really enjoying your stuff. Like that video I read out earlier from Paul, for instance, who's like, I'm really glad I found your channel. It's helped me. Look forward to next year. That for me gives me a warm feeling inside because I'm helping other people, and I must be doing something right for them to watch me. But could YouTube turn into a second business to eBay? I hope so.
What's your revenue at the moment from YouTube? We're not obviously saying
on YouTube.
It's one of those where
transparency again, and I don't mind sharing this. Let me have a look here. Yeah, so in the last 4 weeks, I've earned 7.8 million. That's the last one. I'm joking. Since I've done YouTube and since I got monetized, that is my estimated earning on YouTube, which is £459 and 6 pence.
So we're talking around about 100 a month.
Yes.
Roughly.
Yeah, roughly 100 a month. But that's only from when you get monetized. So my viral video that is up to 160,000 views now. I got monetized because of that video, because that gained me nearly 700 subscribers just that one video.
And the watch time got you to that point.
But the day I hit monetization, and I know when it was because I was down here actually. It was 1st of September. It was my birthday. Was the day I got monetized. And I remember us sitting here watching it and being like, "You're getting 3,000 views an hour, 4,000 views an hour." Yeah. And then the moment that video hit monetization, I got monetized. Guess what happened to the video? Bang. And I was down here. When was that? 1st September. So what? 4 months ago.
Yeah.
I was at 157,000 that video, and now it's at 160,000.
Yeah.
So I've gone from going from 2,000 an hour at one point to 30 views a day, which is expected because the more you put out, the video gets buried. But if that video was to get a second wind, and go up again for whatever reason, like some videos do, that's when I'll really see the reward for that video. But actually, that video has paid me the 5th amount of most money compared to all my videos. Where people would look at that video and feel like you must have made an absolute killing on that.
Yeah.
I would have if I was monetized, but I'm not disappointed about that because that helped me get to monetization.
And that was never the intention, like you said. It was more to do with putting the content out there.
When I started YouTube, the intention, and it still is the intention, is because I needed a hobby away from eBay. eBay went from being my hobby to being a job, and I needed something else to do.
That's why we spoke about passion project.
And watching all these other YouTubers, I thought to myself, I really like what they put out. Why can't I do that? And people on at me the whole time to start a channel, you included, to do a channel. And yeah, I love the YouTube game, and I'm so passionate about YouTube. I could talk about YouTube for hours, honestly. And it gets annoying to some people sometimes because the resellers who don't do YouTube probably don't care about YouTube, and that's absolutely fine. I get that. But where there's resellers who do YouTube, I can sit and have a conversation with them for 20 hours about ideas, goals for the channel, what we can do about editing, all of the rest of the stuff as well. So yeah, it is. I'm so passionate about it, but I do want it in the future to become a secondary income stream to eBay. It wouldn't take over eBay, but it could work alongside eBay where it gets to a good level where maybe it can pay some bills, and eBay is the bread and butter, paying for everything else. Yeah. So that's the plan for YouTube.
That ties quite nicely into my next question. What's the plan? Upload schedules, plan for next year, shorts. We keep speaking about YouTube shorts. What's the plan?
The goal I've got set is 3 videos a day. 3 videos a day? Definitely not 3 videos a day. We'll unclip that because it'll be like another vlogmas, but more intense. 3 videos a week is what I want to do.
Okay.
Next week.
On a schedule or just in a week? You're not going to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday?
So the Monday,
stick yourself to that?
The Monday, I think I want to stick with my life.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it'll either be 2 car boot sale videos or 1 car boot sale and 1 eBay related. What sold, a picking video, eBay tips and tricks, which I enjoy, sharing knowledge and helping others, especially new sellers. Or it might be going to a charity shop haul. I have a really good idea next year for YouTube that I don't want to talk about now because I'm still planning it at the moment. Stay tuned. Stay tuned to the channel. Not the live on the 5th. But I've got a really good plan, which is going to be a bit like, I'll say one word. It's going to be a road show, potentially. And I'm going to leave it at that. But yeah, I have lots of ideas. But yeah, 3 videos a week is what I'm looking to upload next year. Now, I'm not going to beat myself up if I only get 2 videos out. But I'm kind of setting 3 videos a week. Because I'm still at the stage where I want to grow the channel. I'm not at a point now where I don't need to. I could put a video out a month and get the same results. I'm still growing. So that is the plan. Let me just catch up with the chat because I don't want to get too far behind. Let me have a look here. Yeah, so they're saying about jewelry. Jewelry is so appealing, easy to list at either store. I just don't have any interest in it. Yeah, similar to clothing for me. Clothing's very easy to store. Hard to list, I think, because you've got to do the measurements, and I just don't have a passion for it.
Would you? Oh, okay, that's interesting because it has to be something you, when you say have a passion for, you wouldn't buy an item because you know it's going to sell if you know nothing about it or don't have an interest in it.
So
because you mentioned clothing, you had a good win this year with some.
I did, yeah, the Guns N' Roses stuff. But I asked this question the other day to the group. And I know Tech's answer on it, so I've asked a question the other day to the clothing resellers: do you enjoy clothing? And 95% of the people I asked said no, don't like clothes. So they're not passionate about what they're listing; they're passionate about money,
the business. Yeah.
So Jamie, who popped in earlier, I don't know if he's still here, but he's passionate about clothing. He knows all his vintage brands. He's into all of what he calls drip
This
fashion.
Was the brick and mortar guy.
That's him.
Cardiff,
19
right?
years of age, passionate about everything, has some really good vintage t-shirts, knows his stuff, can look at a brand straight away and say yes or no whether it's going to pick up. He's into that. For me to learn his knowledge would take years, and you've got to be passionate. You've got to be looking at Instagram of what people are wearing and what the trends are. I don't know all that. Could I resell clothes? Yes. Could I resell clothes at his level? No, because he's passionate about it and he's an expert in the niche. But yeah, that's the interesting thing about jewelry, because it does make good money. So Pete's saying, don't you just stick a main label on a printer and pray? I've tried that before, and I did have a item damage, believe it or not.
You had a mix-up, label mix-up as well, didn't you? You put a wrong label on a parcel.
That was during the vlog. And luckily, because the lockers were full, I realised and I went home and changed the label. So it kind of helped me. Here we go. Uh-oh, we have a serious question. All right. What kind of return investment are you looking to average into 2023? Do you think the return investment is getting less the more people become aware of online selling? I think, to answer that question from my point of view, reselling is getting more difficult, even from when I've only been doing it for 2 years. So from when I started reselling to now, it's getting more difficult because there's more people doing it. There's less people, I feel, giving away stuff. So less people kind of look at things now and say, oh, I could give this away to... I could put this on Facebook Marketplace for free, or I can list it on Vinted. I can list it on Depop, is becoming quite big on some stuff, or I can list it on eBay. Because eBay advertise quite heavily now, people are more thinking about, oh, I can do it myself, but you still get a high percentage of people who don't want the hassle.
Yesterday was the first time I've ever been into a charity shop and overheard one of the volunteers in there saying that goes for X on eBay. Yeah. I was really surprised by that. I was quite shocked in some of the pricing of the charity shops, which is a shame. Yeah, because they'll have some items, I feel, rightly or wrongly, have some items in there for a long time. Yeah, you talk yourself about throughput days and trying to clear stuff out. You know, it's a shame when you're looking at, you know, I think there was a Zara t-shirt in one of the charity shops, like a shirt that was £18. Yeah, it would have been 25, maybe 30 new. Yeah. It's hard then when you're trying to support a charity and for the right reasons, and even from what you're doing in terms of then taking it and reselling, that money's then going to the charity. I mean, it's interesting.
I'm really weird with charity, because charity shops have got to make their money. They're not designed and not put there for resellers. Completely agreed. But resellers could be so helpful to charity shops because there's so much stuff they reject now because they can't take it. They've got too much stock. We went into the charity shop yesterday. It was a British Heart Foundation. Walked in there, and straight away I said to you, oh, there's a comic in that glass there. £80 for an X-Man comic. Now, there's no way anyone has picked up that comic and just said, oh, it looks quite nice, let's put £80 in it. They're doing their research before they put it out in the charity shop. So that comic is going to be sitting there until they find the perfect person who wants that X-Man comic, who can't find it anywhere else, and wants to give £80 to the charity shop. Where they could have that sitting there for £20, there might be someone like me who knows comics, I don't, by the way, who comes in and sort of sees that and bids, or on eBay, I could probably get about £60 for that quite comfortably. Let me pay £20. The charity shop's made £20 for something they've got for zero. Or they've got a comic in the glass cabinet sitting there, maybe for 4 years, and they've made no money. That's my view on it. But on the flip side, they're not there for us as resellers. They're designed for people who can't afford new. That's what a charity shop is.
And that was where
But could they afford an £80 comic? Are they going to be looking for that? So
is that the right place for it?
Let me just catch up. So to answer the question, sorry, I feel we might have skipped past that a bit. I feel it's getting more difficult. The return on investment is going to be less because everything's going up. I wouldn't be surprised in the new year, and people might know more than me, whether the postage goes back up. I saw Every's drop down to £2.75 at the moment, £2.99. But with the Royal Mail situation, are they going to rise their prices because they've had a really tough end to the year?
What about eBay fees? eBay fees fixed? Do they go up year on year with inflation or CPI? Or
yeah, so eBay will find any reasons to up their fees. The promoted listings thing is funny because you used to be able to promote at 1%, and then they changed it as 2% as standard. Okay. So yeah, everything's going up. So I think you've got to be smarter. I think next year we're going to have to work harder to make less. That's my personal opinion on next year. I think next year is going to be a struggle. We've got the cost of living crisis. Is that going to work well for us resellers? I think so, on some categories. But if you are selling, I don't know, brand new PlayStation 5s next year, are you going to struggle? Possibly. Because people might be saying to their children or whatever, you know, we can only afford to buy a second-hand PlayStation 4 this year. So it all depends on category. But I think it's going to be tough for a lot of people next year, honestly. Let me just see if I've missed anyone here. I know I've missed some things in the chat. Sorry, guys. It's busy. Here we are. Malcolm Smith says, Cornwall, do it the right way, jam first. So JJ or Jess, I know her, is asking the question, because I've spoke about this in the 24-hour room. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the stream.
Where did the idea come from? What in your head said, I'm going to stand in the shed for 24 hours?
Who said I'm standing up, by the way? I've got the chair.
Sitting in the shed for 24 hours and streaming. I get the mindset behind it. You mentioned about the open room, the community, the people that follow you from, you know, Mail in Australia, guys, you know, Boston, wherever in the States, and the UK guys. Yes. Where does that come about?
So let's talk about personality, first of all. My personality. I don't want to go too deep. It's not going to turn into one of these therapy sessions where I'm going to lie down on the sofa in a minute.
I'm not paid anywhere near
we're doing that. You know me growing up, and you know my personality. I have an addictive personality. I like pushing myself, and I like doing some crazy stuff over the years. Yeah. So when we had little brother Joseph, who passed away, like under 100 days old, and the first thing not the first thing, but straight away I'm like, right, I want to raise money for the hospital and the charity who looked after him. So I signed up to do a triathlon, and I was a lot bigger than what I am now. And I was in no fit state to do a triathlon, but I put my mind to it and I do it. So I had these wild ideas. I signed up and done a charity boxing fight. I've never done boxing in my life. You know, I thought I'm going to go in there and get absolutely battered and bottom my ass, but I didn't. I have these things where I like to challenge myself. I've done vlogmas because I wanted a challenge. So where this idea came from was actually not my idea. So in the Daily Refinement group, there's a YouTube call on a Thursday, and everyone was talking about it. And I said, it was kind of my idea, but I was kind of pushing it on someone else. Has anyone ever done a 24-hour live stream of listing items on eBay?
So you're trying to pass the buck and see if
I was trying to hope someone else picked up and said, I'll do that. I've done that. Or watch it. I just wanted someone to say, watch this one video. They've done it and they've shown the whole 24 hours.
And it was awful.
Yeah. But everyone's like, no one's ever done it. Some people have said they've done 24 hours listing, but made that into a 10-minute video talking about the results.
Okay.
No one's ever live streamed reselling for 24 hours. And so I sit there, and it was Tech, actually. Tech popped up and he went, well, James, that means you've got to do it now.
I volunteered, yeah.
And I went, instead of going like, no, I'm not doing it. I went, yeah, all right, I'll do it in the new year. And they were like, well, tell us a date. And I went, okay, 5th of January. And this was in like October. And I thought, the 5th of January is never going to come. Oh, it's here.
Or they'll forget, yeah.
So, yeah, 24 hours live streaming on StreamYard, where I'm going to have to do things slightly differently. I won't be able to manage to chat like I would want to. But what I want it to be is 24 hours of listing on eBay, but with a coffee pod format. So where people who are in the chat today, or anyone who does reselling, even the people who don't want to do reselling, they can come into the StreamYard. I'm going to share the link everywhere. They can come to StreamYard. They can join the chat. They can have a chat with me about reselling while we either work, or we can sit down for 10, 15 minutes and have a chat. I'm going to have 5 questions I'm going to ask every person who comes in the live stream. And then I'm going to use that to clip the video afterwards to make it kind of like 5 questions for resellers, whatever. I'll think of a good title, obviously. I just think it'll be exciting. And I've had such a good response from people in the group who are joining me with it. So there's Jen in the US, there's Mark in the US, who have both said to me, I'm doing it for 24 hours. Mark was saying to me, he spoke to his wife about it. I said, oh, James is mad, isn't he? And she went, no, you should do it with him. It'll be good. And so now he's committed to doing it. There's some people in the UK who said they want to do it as well, but it'll just be interesting. So the camera's going to be on 24 hours. The only breaks I'm going to have is to go and get a drink and to go to the toilet, because you don't want to see me go to toilet on the live stream. Let's be honest.
Suggest a commode.
Yeah, the commode idea was suggested. It's not going to happen. But I think it'll be good fun. And the challenge is, can I list 140 items, which is my week's worth, in the space of 24 straight hours on listing? On paper, it sounds very easy. But with people coming into the live chat, there's going to be pauses, with me responding to people. But the difficult thing is going to be that endurance thing of 24 hours. And once if you've ever listed on eBay, I mean, you listed a few items, but for people who list on eBay daily, you know what it's like. When you get to that 5 item mark or the 10 item mark or the 20 item mark, you hit a brick wall where you're bored of it. It becomes boring to list items on eBay. How am I going to break through that barrier? Is it a case of the breaks and the chats are going to help motivate me? Is it a case of the fact that I'm doing this 24-hour stream is going to motivate me? Or is it possible by hour 6 or 7, I've got 140 items listed and I'm doing extra now, and I can make that a weekly thing where I say, why am I spreading my week out doing 20 items a day in the draft bank? Why don't I just do 140 items on a Monday? And then the rest of my week can be used. Tuesday might be a recovery day. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday might be YouTube and sourcing. Saturday and Sunday, sourcing at the car boot sale. Is it possible? So I'm doing it as a bit of a challenge for me, but to see what is possible for other people as well. And if you do want to join, even if you don't want to come in the stream, join along. So it's next Thursday, the 5th, 7:30 p.m. UK time, right the way through to 7:30 p.m. on the Friday UK time. And if it all goes to pot, it's going to turn into a sleep stream anyway. And they do good numbers for sleep streams. So, but yeah, so I'm interested to see whether it's possible. But that is the plan for the stream. Let me ask some of these questions before we move on.
Yeah.
Adam says, interesting that Chris, Daily Refinement, doesn't have any interest in the category. No idea how he stays motivated listing women's clothing. Yeah. So Chris does women's clothing. He doesn't wear women's clothing. Well, he might do. Chris, if you do, let us know.
Wow, rumours are starting now, Chris.
He does not have any passion for women's clothing, but he has passion to make money. So do you need to be passionate about what you sell?
But that's the thing, is your passion may come from different things. It might not be your items. And that's why I sort of flagged that up.
Everyone's talking about the charity shops here. So JJ's getting £2.27. So yeah, message me afterwards. Let me know how you're getting special mates rates. Is it the volume? Is it because you've got a business account with Every? Maybe so. Jack says, got a charity shop near me with games, bang on eBay prices. I've offered them sex voucher price for them, and they said no. They've been there since before the first lockdown.
If anyone does listen on like Spotify or any other format, it's
CEX.
CEX.
Yes, just to confirm.
Yeah,
but the amount of charity shops you go into now, Jack, and you probably have the same, where they've got our price is £40, eBay price £55, and they're like trying to say you're getting a bargain.
Cheaper than eBay.
But you're right, them DS games. I went into one of the charity shops I went into yesterday. I saw Pirates of the Caribbean on Wii. I haven't looked it up. I don't think it's a big game. It was in the glass cabinet for £12. And I'm sure down at CEX, that's probably about a £6 game in there.
Yeah.
So actually, they're just doing themselves a disservice. So, yeah. But I know some people have great success in charity shops. Some people go in there and it's all items of clothing £1. And they have a field day, you know?
It's so sporadic.
It's area dependent.
Yeah, location-wise, it's 100%. 100%.
Right, okay. So I can't see it properly, so I will pop in. Yeah, Rich, feel free, mate. I said it's 24 hours, so I'm hoping to get the UK crowd in, the Australia crowd in, because Mel says she's going to pop in, and the American crowd in. And also, I've got people who watch my videos from France and Singapore. So if they want to pop in, great. But it doesn't have to be resellers. So if you're not a reseller, you probably won't be watching this. But if you're not a reseller and you do want to pop in for a chat, feel free. All I need to do is authorize you in the StreamYard at the bottom. I'll make sure you're not a troll. I'll make sure I have my finger ready for the people I don't know, because you will get them. But yeah, I wanted to be open to anyone, and it'd be good to get some new faces in of people who I haven't interviewed on the coffee pod to ask you a few questions about your business. So it's a complete free for all. So next Thursday the 5th, but I'll be promoting that. I will have the bladder of a Smythe rodent. I will be. Yeah, that is the fear. I'm gonna have to not. Obviously, I'm planning to drink lots of water and stuff as part of the fitness kick. So I'm gonna have to be careful not to drink too much because I don't want every 5 minutes me being like, right, I'll be back in a second. Yeah, Jack, feel free, mate. You're more than welcome. You know that. Right, over to you.
In fairness, I think we've touched on a lot of the questions. Anything else in terms of goals for next year? We spoke about your daily listings, your 100K.
Yeah. So the fitness for me is the big thing. I want to drop 2 stone by April is where I want to do it by end of April, which I know is achievable if I get my diet right. So diet's going to be a big thing. Less alcohol. I mean, I don't drink loads anyway. I'm more of a binge drinker, but less alcohol, less fizzy drinks. Getting back in my routine of the gym because I feel mental health stuff's good for the gym. And when I was going to the gym, I had a lot more thinking space, means I sleep better. Sleep is another big thing. I don't like setting loads of goals, but sleep is a big thing. I can't sleep at the moment without noise. And because the wife doesn't like noise, I have my headphones on. So I sometimes wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning with a podcast on, a crime podcast. And I'm like so engrossed in the story at that point. Sometimes I won't get back to sleep till about 6 or 7 or 6 o'clock and then wake up at 7. And then you eat rubbish food because you feel rubbish. You don't go to the gym. It just builds on. So yeah, fitness for me is number one. Next year, I want to save £50,000. And I've got a spreadsheet of how I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a video at the start of next year talking about that and showing how I've planned how I'm going to do that as well. And then to go to YouTube. I have aspirations for YouTube. You can't control your YouTube subscribers. But my goal originally was to get to 5,000 subscribers. But I'm going to really push myself and I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to set a target of 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year.
So if we do another podcast this time next year, you'll be on 10,000.
And I'm sitting on 1,000. Something's gone backwards.
All of your Welsh subscribers have unsubbed after your comment.
But I feel it's good to set goals, but you need to have the realistic short-term goals. Mm-hmm. So that's like my fitness. I know I can change that, but that's not going to be an overnight thing. I'm not going to go to the gym once, wake up, and I've lost all the weight. It's going to be a case of that's going to take time, but I'm determined to do it. Yeah. There's going to be the eBay thing, which is about being consistent. And again, that's not going to suddenly shoot up overnight. That's going to take 2 or 3 months to consistently listen 20 to get the results. And the YouTube game is I'm just going to carry on what I'm doing. I'm not going to do anything special. I'm going to try and improve my editing. I'm going to still go to the car boot sales. I'm going to still be honest about what I've sold, how much I've made, what my figures are, and all of this stuff. But hopefully try and stretch that market out a bit further. And I think when I'm doing the roadshow, I think that could help with that as well.
Second channels.
So this is yeah. So this is me, and this is crazy. Okay, so let me talk about a second channel I do have, which I've never spoke about before. All right, and it's a joke channel. So me and my friends always spoke to my other friend Andy about doing a channel. He's obsessed with biscuits, and we said you should do a channel called The Daily Dunk. So you do a biscuit review each day. You get a biscuit, dunk it into a cup of coffee. And he never done it. So drunkenly, we went out for a Christmas meal. I said, right, I'll do it then. Don't worry about it. I'll do it. And I done 5 videos or 6 videos and it got up to 7 subscribers. And I've stopped doing it. And the reason I stopped doing it is because I was buying a pack of biscuits to do 1 biscuit dunk. And I was eating a whole pack of biscuits. And so in 7 days, I ended up eating like 6 packs of biscuits, which is just stupid. Don't do that. Don't try that. That's probably why I need to really hit the gym
That's
hard.
where the help advice comes from.
So yeah, I'm not doing that. But if I was to start again, for instance, say I never started Bold Finds YouTube channel, and I was going to do a YouTube channel that wasn't reselling related, I would go down the true crime route because I'm really passionate about true crime. It's what I like watching, and them videos do really well. And you can do lives. I mean, I watch a guy in America called Ikadmel, and he does lives for 5-6 hours, and he'll have thousands of people in his lives, and he's built up the channel to get to that point. But he talks true crime and stuff, and I'm really invested in it. So if I was to start a second channel in the future, it would be true crime related, which is the complete opposite to reselling. And that would be more of a podcasty format. It would be more of a story format of talking through a crime. But you have to do lots more research into them videos. You need to get the clips of the police interviews, and you need to do your background research of the crime from start to finish to do that as well.
Would it be called Bold Dies? And on that
note, Bold Dies is going to be the channel. I'm going to create that after the stream so no one else nicks it. Right, let me catch up on the chat before we say our goodbyes. Let me just see whether I've missed anything here. So we got to Chop's Bladder. We've done that one. Vintage and retro lifestyle with Amanda. Hi, hope you're good. What's Adam saying here? Adam saying that's why many charity shops are no longer accepting donation. Right. Reality is a reseller will do well to find one item in each shop. The other 99.99 is either adequately or overpriced. 100% agree. And also, people don't understand about the amount of work we do as a reseller. People think you just list the item on eBay and it just sells and you move on your life.
Chuck it in the post box.
You've got to deal with customer service. You've got to deal with the listing itself. You've got to make sure the item sells. You've got to make sure it's stored away correctly. You've got to make sure it arrives to the customer okay. I now offer 60-day returns. You've got to wait 60 days before you can kind of say it's a successful sale. So, yeah, I agree with you there on charity shops. Listathon Live 2023.
Listathon Live. What
Let's
great
have a look
name.
here. 2 seconds. There we are. So Stepmom's doing the 2 stone drop by April as well. So
it's written down now. It's got to happen.
Yeah, it's on the stream. So we'll come back. We'll weigh you in. Weigh you in. Let's see here. Right, I think we're at the bottom of that. So the final thing I want to say is I don't want to get all new year, new me and all this stuff because I'm not going to say it because that's another one of my icks as well. And thanks to the people who put in their icks. And yeah, I'm sure you'll go away afterwards and think about all the icky things you don't like. But on a serious note, I just want to say thanks to everyone who has supported the channel this year. It's been incredible. I don't mind saying, and sometimes it takes you that little moment to kind of sit back and reflect and do this reflection at the end of the year to see how well the channel's grown and how much support I've had. I've had some negative stuff along the way, as you expect, but overall, it's been really nice to have a lot of people support the channel, to come in, say hello. These live chats make it worthwhile when I can answer questions and hear other people's nice things. And also, maybe the things that people aren't sure of, like the data refinement group, for instance, is something that I'm passionate about, but I understand it's not for everyone. So if anyone's ever got any questions about that, drop Chris a message or even drop me a message. So I'm not paid by them, and I'll answer and I'll give you the truthful answer on anything you've got to ask. So on that note, cheers. Happy New Year to you all. Don't do Old Lang Syne, all right, because it's very icky. But I will see you on the 5th of January for the 24-hour live stream. But take care.
Happy New Year, guys.